Drop the beat. Teen Speak.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the brand new episode of Teen Speak. My name is Dawson Elijah Bailey, and I have my buddy right here, Coach. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Pretty good.
So strange.
I know.
Can I ask you a question? Did you have any caffeine today?
No, I have not.
So this is just all natural.
This is all natural.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, audience. Okay, so this is like part 2 of our examples of people who had faith in the Bible. We're on Hebrews 11. So today we're actually going to start off on verse 7 with the character Noah. On verse 7 it says, "By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith." So, Coach, if you'd like to start, what do you think about the interesting character of Noah?
Noah, I mean, just thinking of everything I've learned about Noah, not just from maybe this verse, but just knowing his life as a whole. Noah was by no means a perfect man, but ultimately he was a man that had exemplary faith. That's why he's mentioned here in the New Testament. And because what was his faith? Well, I mean, his faith literally saved his family and saved the human race, I guess you could say, in a way. Because God told Noah, hey, I'm going to flood the earth. And Noah ultimately, even in the Old Testament, Noah had a choice. He could take God and believe God, or he could believe that God is exaggerating and he's really not going to do that.
And just let it slide.
But ultimately, and see, sometimes it's hard to think about these things because it's like, well, he did it, right? But, I mean, it was still ultimately, it was a choice. God told him what was going to happen. God told him what he needed to do, and Noah did it. And imagine, even if there were some forms of boats back then, I'm not sure if there were.
I don't think so.
To be honest.
In my opinion, I don't think so.
I just don't see it personally. I mean, they didn't have science books like we have that taught about buoyancy and stuff like that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
All this information.
Invented. Yeah.
So Noah literally had to take God's word and God's instructions and not only build a boat. I mean, he built a massive ship.
Yeah.
And it was
every living, animal.
all kinds of living creatures. And without getting too deep into it, I want to explain, because this is probably one of the ones atheists like to use a lot. And they say, how could Noah fit 2 of every animal in the world? And even the clean animals, there was actually more than 2. But I believe, what I believe by reading the Bible, and I teach science as well. If you research in science, there's actually, when you talk about the genus, right, the genus, species, so on and so forth, there are different kinds, right? So, for example, they call us mankind, right?
Right.
They call the kind for dogs, I believe, is they call them the name just slips me, canine. I think it's canine or something similar to that.
It's canine, yeah.
But there's different kinds. So what I actually believe, and I could be wrong, but how I believe it with the size of the ark, the logistics of it, fitting all this, I believe that there were kinds back then that were able, because remember, Noah was also only one family, and he was able to produce the Asian race, the white, the European race, and the African race. And I believe that these kinds were similar. There were kinds, so there wasn't a German Shepherd, and
there wasn't a Boston Terrier.
Boston Terrier. I believe there was a kind for the dog. There was a kind for the felines, which is cats. I believe there was a kind for each one, and those he had, and those were the ones that were preserved through the flood. And then after that, just like how he produced the 3 human races, I believe those kinds spread out over time and made the different breeds that you see today. So that's just a little side nugget for you there. But it says here that he being warned of God of things not seen as yet, right? What does that mean? That means there has never been a flood.
No.
I believe, and I believe Pastor said this before, there had never even really been a rain, right?
No, I don't think so.
And I believe these people were like, Noah,
there's water
Noah.
coming down. Like,
you're telling me we have never seen water falling from the sky.
exactly.
But now you're going to tell me, Noah, that God's going to send so much water that it's going to flood the entire earth?
See, that didn't make sense.
It
at
just
the
sounds
time.
crazy.
It sounded crazy.
Right? It almost sounds as crazy as, come on, really, Christians? You're telling me that one day God's going to call all the Christians out and he's going to condemn the earth again? It's just like it, right? And Noah here had to have faith through the mockery. He had to have faith through the process of building this. And because of it, it says he prepared an ark to the saving of his house. His faith didn't only protect him, his faith protected his house. And a lot of times, listen, I've said this before, your parents can't save you. Your parents can't be the reason you go to heaven. But his faith was so extraordinary that it influenced his family enough to be willing to get, because they still had the choice too. His kids didn't have to get on the boat if they didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But they made the choice to trust their father and follow in his footsteps, his faith, and they got on the boat and they were preserved. And ultimately it says he became an heir of the righteousness which is by faith. So
Wow.
a very interesting
Very.
story here. And Noah is not the father of many nations. That's the promise to Abraham. But ultimately, if you trace it back, all races come from Noah
Noah and his family, right?
and his family. So very good thought here. Noah was a man with extraordinary faith. So I enjoyed that one, Dawson.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like Noah.
Yeah, and sometimes, guys, some of these may take one episode to cover 2 or 3 people. Some episodes may only cover one person, like with Noah. But I definitely enjoyed this one. So
Yes, yes. All right, then. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Come to church sometime if you wanted to. We have Sunday morning services, Sunday school, Sunday night services, Wednesday night services, or you can just come to church, all the time and nobody's here,
yeah, you can come up here when no one's here.
Yeah,
So,
go
it's
get
up to you.
key or something. So before we go, questions for commenters for today. I love 2 of these fast food restaurants, but I have one that beats every other fast food restaurant. So, Coach, I want to ask you first, which one do you like better, McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Ew. Do I like constipation or diarrhea? I mean, I think I'm going to have to say McDonald's.
Oh, what?
Miss Jackie, if Miss Jackie was in here, she'd say Taco Bell 10 times through.
I love Taco Bell.
I'm not huge on Taco Bell.
Like, I'm a picky eater. And, like, in almost every restaurant I go, I always order one thing because I'm a picky eater. But with Taco Bell, it's like I can eat everything.
But see, that's where I'm different, man. I'm like, with me, I can eat the same thing every time. So it's like, it comes down to me, do I want a Crunchwrap Supreme all the time? Or do I want a chicken sandwich? And I love chicken sandwiches, so I have to go with McDonald's.
All right, so please comment down there. What do you like, McDonald's or Taco Bell? And we will see you on the next episode. See ya.
See you later, guys.